Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that really feels good, because after all, that's what we want, right?
It's true.
We want to feel good. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson, and sitting next to me, to my right, is the woman who has taught me that it is possible to have a this and a that life, Amy Ellingson. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you here.
Nice to be here.
Hey, what are we going to be talking about after the commercial break for the health topic?
Hearing loss.
Hearing loss.
Something we talk about in our house.
A lot.
Not really a lot. But
Frequently.
we all think Fletcher has a little bit of hearing loss.
And I think that people just talk quietly.
Anywho.
So who's right, who's wrong? I don't know.
Homes across the country are having the same conversation.
All right. So before we go into this, let me just finish my regular spiel.
Yes, go ahead.
Because I do want to remind you out there, if you're watching this, if you have questions that you'd like us to answer on or off the air, you can email those directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. You don't need to suffer and try to figure it out all on your own, because there are answers and solutions, and there are ways to get unstuck and move forward powerfully. I want you also to remind you that you can visit me at my website, fletcherellingson.com, where I've got all sorts of free resources there to check out. You can get a free copy of my ebook, take the happiness quiz, get a bird's eye view of how your life is going, and I'll personally send you feedback on the results. And you can also listen to the podcast there. Anyways, that's a great way to stay in the personal conversation, which is an important conversation.
It's true.
You would agree with that?
I would agree.
All right, cool. Hey, we're going to get into the health topic later, but before we do that, let's practice feeling good, and because it's something that's important to you and I, and it's important to model and share, and when we share it, it kind of magnifies the experience for others. You know, one of the things that I love about when people share their wins is that it can feel good to the person listening.
Yeah, right. It's true.
It can be a blessing to somebody else, just sharing what's going well in your life, because it feels good to them too.
You're being like bathed in the feel good.
Yeah. So let's talk about what are some cool things going on in your life. Where's life working out? What are some wins? Or give me a few.
I would say 3 things. One, work is going. It's pretty intense at work. And I've just been feeling so grateful about how my team up at Three Rivers Family Medicine, we've been managing with just positive attitude, flexibility. Everyone's just being resourceful, stepping into roles that they're not used to doing. People have been out. We've been short-staffed. You know, sick people at home. People are exposed. Blah blah blah. And so we're working with a crew that's frequently down by 1 or 2 people, which makes a difference. So, that's just in our little pod of 5 people. So I just been so proud of them. I love working with them so much, and they've just been really great.
That's cool. It sounds like they're being resourceful, capable, and flexible.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. And it's hard by the end of the day, but you're just like, we just get through it, so.
Yeah.
The second thing is I have been very dedicated in my exercise. I've been exercising 5 to 6 days a week. I keep a calendar, and I've been rotating, cardio and strength, and I've been doing that, I think, since September. And just in the last several weeks, I feel like I've noticed a difference, which is like, it seems like it should be quicker than that, but that's okay. I just like, the point of it has been just to do the work and not focus so much on, the outcome, but just being healthy and being strong. And so that's been feeling really good.
Can we just dive a little deeper on that one?
Okay.
Because I think this is such a great message. So you said you started in September, and you've just been showing up consistently 5 or 6 days a week. And I also think it's good for people to hear, like, the workouts, they weren't super long in the beginning, were they?
No.
They were like little kind of baby steps.
Right. They were maybe like 10, 20 minutes on my bike. And yeah.
Yeah, and some people, because I think we could kind of fall into that mindset or trap of thinking like, I should be getting results, next week, right? And you just got done saying, what I heard you say is like, you started in September, and it's just been a few weeks ago you started noticing like some...
Yeah, that I could complete the workout all the way now. I could do the entire ab workout, or I could do the entire strength workout with squats and whatever.
Yeah.
And I decided for me not to weigh myself. It doesn't work for me very well mentally. So I've just been measuring and then measuring myself like once a month or even once every 6 weeks. And so again, not focusing as much on the outcome, but or the outcome of like a certain weight, but just as like this is a commitment I need to have for the health and well-being of my body.
Yeah.
Not so much as to be a certain size.
Yeah. And how does it feel to take care of your body like this so consistently?
Yeah, it feels really good. I'm feeling stronger, and yeah, it's feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing to kind of recognize too. Like, we're doing this to feel good.
Yeah.
We're increasing our health, and it feels good. So whether or not you see a certain outcome, you can at least know, like, I'm creating health, and that feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Anything else?
Just the last thing is that our daughters that are at home still, a 14 and 18-year-old, have a lot going on. And my one daughter is running for a Manson Apple Blossom Queen or Princess tomorrow. So they just have a lot, it's just fun. They're a freshman and a senior, and they have a lot of stuff and learning things. And it's just it's cool having them home, experiencing life through their eyes. So
yeah, that is fun.
What about you?
Let's see, what is going well for me? So I, kind of same thing. I've been really consistent with a level of exercise that feels really good, and that's important to me. So I've been focusing on my cardio and starting to focus again on building some strength, and that feels really good. I haven't been as consistent as you. But I've been inspired by how consistent you are.
Oh, good.
And that makes a difference for me. Which is also interesting to think, like, right, when you can be inspired by other people and take that on. So exercise, feeling good. A lot of my exercise was through pickleball. I twisted my ankle last week or about 10 days ago, and so I haven't been playing, been missing it. But what's great about that is that, I twisted my ankle, and my ankle's healing. And as I've shared with you before, I don't have anything to do with that. I'm not actively telling my body, heal that ankle. Whatever you do, go and take care of it. It does it without any instruction from me, which I think is just so cool. And I know that people, we take that for granted. Well, of course, Fletcher, of course it's going to heal itself. But it's so cool just to appreciate the fact that this body takes care of itself.
Yeah.
It's a machine that. It's amazing. So anyway, so that's going well. Business is going really well. I feel so wonderfully grateful to work with so many people who are interested in this conversation that you and I have so frequently about evolving their thinking in order to produce desired outcomes. And I get to work with such neat people who are really thinking deeply, who are want to take their life to that next level, whatever that level may be, right? Not that there's anything wrong, or it's not we're fixing anything. We're just getting to that next level of awareness. So business is going really well. And I also feel like what's going really well for me is just this, there's this time of inversion in North Central Washington,
yes,
right?
We've all noticed.
Yes. And this year it's really cold.
And really foggy.
Really. And in past years, sometimes I've caught myself I can't wait till this clears up. Oh my God, another day of this. And so this year I'm just well, this is what showed up. It couldn't be any other way. I'm going to embrace it. I know that this is not going to last forever, but this must be what this is how this region operates. It must serve our climate. Okay, great. Let's roll with it. In 2 weeks, we'll be done. So I guess it's just what's going well is just a new level of acceptance and kind of choosing what shows up.
Yeah, it feels good.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, let's
do these first.
Yeah, let's do a couple of these because that's what is going well for us. But there are so many wonderful things going on in the world as well. So break one down for us.
Okay. One of them is that Habitat Humanity has constructed their first 3D printed home, and it only took 12 hours.
12 hours.
So typical construction time for the organization's homes has been about 4 weeks in the past, but using the 3D printing and concrete, allows it to be faster and bypass the high lumber costs. So 12 hours, they were able to build a home with a 3D printer.
Yeah. Now, and just to be clear, when they mean building a home, they're like building the foundation and the walls and everything like that, which typically would take about 4 weeks. You can look this up online, and because you're like, what do you mean they're printing a home? It's pretty impressive. So look it up online. Because they got this big machine with this arm, and it just goes back and forth with concrete and makes these walls. It's really impressive. But what I love about it is, it's cost efficient and speeds things up like crazy.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's yours.
All right. So let me give you one from another cool thing that's going on in the world. Renewable energy had another record-breaking year in 2021, according to a report from the International Energy Agency. Countries around the world installed an additional 290 gigawatts of renewable power capacity over the past single year. 290 gigawatts, that is a lot. 1 gigawatt, just to give you a frame of reference, 1 gigawatt powers about 750,000 homes. In the US, last year, we hit a new record. We have 97.2 gigawatts of renewable power, and that powers about 18 million homes. So really
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, and it says that we're on the current trajectory. By 2026, the capacity for generating renewable energy will exceed that of nuclear and fossil fuel energy combined, which is very exciting.
I'm changing my mind. I'm not going to say what you wanted me to say.
Okay.
Because I just found there's a bunch of pictures in this magazine about Backward Day, that falling on January 31st, just between National Croissant Day and National Dark Chocolate Day, it's a National Backward Day. And it was started in 1961 by 2 farmers, and I just didn't know that people really did stuff with this. There's actually whole things that people did backwards that day.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, it's
I've
really
never heard of
funny.
that.
They had these soccer fans did things, I don't know, backwards, and different people were doing backward things on that day. Anyway,
I love it.
so let's go to commercial so we can start talking about hearing loss.
All right,
you're trying to avoid the subject.
We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back to talk about hearing loss. Stay with us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. So glad you're here. We got Amy next to us, and she is going to give us some education about
hearing loss.
About hearing loss.
Something I see a lot of, and it's harder these days with a mask on,
Oh.
for sure. So anyway, for the people that I have patients who just cannot hear me if my mask is on. So.
Yeah. So I'm going first question right off the bat. Do you see a lot of this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's very common. So, age-related hearing is called presbycusis, which, and the etymology of that is Greek for the combination of old and hearing. So about half of people over age 65 in the United States have some degree of hearing loss. So it's very common.
So they have old hearing.
They have old hearing,
Yeah.
yes. So hearing loss is defined as one of 3 types. It's either going to be conductive hearing loss, which means there's a problem kind of out here for the sound waves to be conducted through. Then there's sensorineural, which involves the inner ear where the nerve is, or there's mixed. So to help us understand hearing loss, I think I'd like to talk about the ear a little bit, also because it's very cool, because we were looking at these, the middle ear bones last night are called ossicles, and you really should Google them because they're very cool.
Yeah, I
so
was
the
impressed.
ear is made up of 3 parts. There's the outer ear, which is called the pinna, and then there's the middle ear, which has these little bones, and then the middle ear is connected to the back of your throat through your eustachian tube, which people have probably heard about that. So it allows, it's like a pressure equalizing to be attached to that, to be connected to the back of your throat. And then there's the inner ear. So the outer ear, as we know, kind of has this part of the ear, which is kind of acts like a funnel to have sound go through. And then you have your middle ear, which then has the eardrum, and then on the eardrum you have these 3 little bones called, there's 2 names for each one of them, the hammer or the malleus, which is attached to the eardrum, and then the anvil, or also called the incus, is attached to the anvil to the hammer, and the stirrup or the stapes, which literally looks like a little stirrup that you wear like when you're riding a horse, that's attached to the incus. It's also called the stapes, and then that's attached to the oval window, which is on the cochlea of the, like you really just should Google like middle ear images. It's just so mind-boggling. So the thing that's so cool is that when the so the sound goes, gets kind of funneled in, hits your eardrum, and then the malleus is right up against the eardrum, and so it takes the vibrations. Then it goes through the 3 bones, and the reason that the 3 bones during that process, because of the difference in size, shape of them, the force of the vibration increases.
Wow.
So by the time it's to the little stirrup bone, it has increased in the vibration to then transfer that to the inner ear, to the fluid that's within the cochlea.
That is wild.
Yeah. So I know it's kind of mind-boggling, like the design. It's like the eyeball. It's how I feel about the eye. I'm like, what? Like the engineering that is involved. So the ear is just so interesting. So then once it goes through those 3 little bones, then the last bone it has like a flat spot, and it attaches to the cochlea, which is this like snail-shaped structure that's in your inner ear that's filled with fluid, and inside those little like snail things, there's thousands of tiny hairs that have liquid in them. And so the vibration then is translated from the hairs to the nerve to your brain, which then comes up as sound.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's just mind-blowing. I think it's really cool. It's almost like too weird to even talk about.
And it's such a mind-blowing thing. Like as you're saying this, I'm watching your mouth, like the sound coming out, which sounds like words to me, but as you're saying this, I'm realizing that what's happening.
Yeah.
This is like,
you're like hearing with your brain also, just like you see with your brain, you don't see with your eyes, is just like the way to have it come in.
wow.
So then it then helps you understand that the potential potential causes of hearing loss. So you obviously, one of the most common things is damage to the inner ear. So the wear and tear on these little hair and their nerve cells, either just because of age or sometimes because of exposure to loud noises, or also sometimes medication can do it. Obviously, if you have a buildup of earwax, or if you have a problem with the eardrum, you're also going to have a problem with that. The one thing I would say is that if anyone's watch this and wants to take note, if you ever have sudden hearing loss in one side, it actually is a fairly urgent thing that you want to go talk to your doctor about, because it can be caused by either a stroke or a certain type of inflammation, and you have about 10 to 14 days to go get care before it's going to be permanent.
Oh, wow.
And then usually, if it's usually kind of an infectious or inflammatory thing, we treat it with steroids and it gets better. But anyway, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so the risk factors for that may cause to damage of those hairs and the nerve cells, like we said, is age, and then loud noise. The louder the noise, the less time it takes to cause permanent hearing damage. And so it's stuff like snowmobiles, guns, like hunting is a big risk factor because it's just so loud. Anyone who works in a job where they're working around machinery that's loud.
I think that's interesting because you might just think like, I'm shooting my gun, and it's just such a short thing.
Yeah.
You'd be like, it's not going to make a difference. But like you said, the louder it is.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and so if you shoot it once every 10 years, maybe that's not usually the case if someone is a hunter or So it also can be hereditary. We talked about occupational stuff like farming, construction, working in a factory. Motorcycles. Then some of the medications, there's a medication, an antibiotic, we don't usually use this antibiotic very much, called gentamicin. Viagra can affect hearing, chemotherapy. Then there are some illnesses that can relate or can result in damage to the cochlea.
Okay. Well, let's take another quick break.
Yes, okay.
Then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this, and we'll talk about that.
We should talk about you testing your hearing last night.
About me testing my hearing last night on a smartphone.
App, yeah.
All right. Stay with us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. We're here with Amy and we're talking about hearing loss and finding out some really cool things about these ears on our side of our head.
So we just have a few more minutes. So I just wanted to say that obviously hearing loss can be very devastating. And we have your father, he has profound hearing loss, and he just is out of the conversation, even with hearing aids. So it's really important to pay attention to your hearing and protect your ears. If you are in a profession or you're exposed to loud noises, wear good hearing protection. Also getting your hearing tested. If you think you may have hearing loss, then you can know, oh gosh, I really need to pay attention to this. And then obviously go seek medical care. Sometimes earwax is a problem. That's an easy fix. Other times it might be something wrong with your eardrum. They actually can do surgery on your eardrum or those little ossicles, those bones. And then obviously hearing aids. Like you can go to Costco, you can go to Confluence, you can go to other places that have hearing testing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about so last night we were talking about this and how, again, in the family, we all feel like Fletcher has a little bit of hearing loss, and he denies it. And so there was an app that was called Mimi. I think I just went in the App Store, and he went in the other room and put earbuds in, AirPods.
Yeah, AirPods,
And so go ahead.
And so the app was really cool. It gives you you give it your age, and then it walks you through a short tutorial. And really, there's just a button that shows up on the screen. You hold the button down as soon as you start hearing the beeping, and then you release it when you can no longer hear it. And it takes you up and down the scale of sound. And it was really cool, and they do it for left and right ear. It probably took about, 4 or 5 minutes total. And then it gives you some feedback and results. And for me, I think I said I had mild hearing loss.
Yes, it is. We didn't have time for me to do mine, but I feel like mine would be better than yours, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. And what's interesting is, in light of what you just shared, for a lot of years I was in the landscaping industry, and so on my back I would frequently have those gas-powered blowers that are extremely loud and high-pitched.
Oh,
and
yeah.
frequently I had zero ear protection because I was too lazy to put it on.
Mm-hmm.
And
don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. And I don't know if that was a result of it, but
yeah,
it could be.
Yeah, so it really takes you out. It can be quite isolating. People can have depression from it. It can even lead to some conflict in relationships I've seen. So it's a big deal to lose your hearing. So it matters. Take care of your hearing. If you think you have a problem, you could download an app and get it tested. A lot of places have free hearing testing.
Mm-hmm.
Go get it checked out. And so then you can know if you really need to take it seriously and make sure that you're protecting your hearing if you're ever around any loud noises to reduce the damage that you're having.
Yeah, right on. Good stuff. Okay. We're at the end of the show, so you know what it's time to do now. It's time to get out there. Be a source of kindness. Be a source of contribution. And remember, you do have something to offer this world, and we believe in you.